start to put tension on my string drawback, I was like, okay, I'm gonna smoke.
It's him. You can look at the horns when he's dead. I'm in the zone. Let the arrow go is perfect.
When they lose their front shoulders, that's how you know they're smoking.
Went about 5-10 more yards. He probably went 20 yards total. Stepped over, tried getting back up. I saw him pull up.
We rushed 4 meters rods that night. We got like 156 and something like that, and then the next day we came up to 163 even.
You're listening to the White Cat Outdoors podcast, bringing you to the table where we talk about the outdoors.
I thought you were gonna do it, but for real, no jokes. We gotta apologize, guys. I'm gonna throw it to Nick because it's 100% his fault.
Absolutely, totally.
Oof.
Yeah.
Tom, you were awfully loud. We're going to turn you down for what? Because you're too loud. All right. So, like Frank said, we got to apologize. We've been releasing a podcast for 83 weeks straight. Never missed a week. And we technically still haven't missed a week. But we've been launching every Sunday at 5 a.m. And we have not messed that up until last week. We had a glitch with Podbean. I don't know what happened. But it was brought to our attention on Monday that, hey, where the F was our Sunday's podcast, which kind of made me feel good that somebody likes to listen every Sunday, and they were like, hey, where is it? So it took us a few days to figure it out, but I got it fixed because it had said it was published. It was showing published on my end, couldn't figure it out, but I think I figured the glitch out, and it should be up, episode 84, for your guys' listening pleasure. We hope that we never have to give this apology again. Moving forward, I think I know what the issue was with Podbean, and we're going to try and make sure it doesn't happen again. But I do want to put on record, we didn't miss a week because we're still
close.
in this week. But yes, very close.
Yeah.
Too close.
Yeah, but we appreciate you guys looking out for us and letting us know when Nick makes mistakes.
Yeah.
And we'll make sure that me and Tom will do our best to stay on Nick so that it doesn't happen
I'm okay
again.
with docking my pay.
Yeah, please. Honestly, it'll be a lot.
Yeah, big
Might
time.
cut your pay entirely.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yikes. Oof.
So do we have anything else we want to talk about after the apology? Before we get way in it?
The Patreon account.
Yeah.
Spots are filling in.
They are.
Yeah, well, speaking of spots filling in, one of our Patreons, Ben, has doubled down. Now, he has twice the chance.
Oh, man.
He upped from 17 cents a day to now 34 cents a day. Now he has twice the chance to win. That's how that works. So
It's wild.
congratulations to Ben, and thank you. I'm really trying to push for this to be filled up before October 1st.
Yeah.
I would love, that's like a big goal of mine. And speaking of goals, episode 85.
Talking goals.
Yeah, we're talking this season's deer hunting goals.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm excited about it, and I think it's nice to lay our goals out there ahead of time so we can,
For
reflect
sure.
back at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Are we also going to talk about how we plan on accomplishing this goal?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
You don't just set a goal with no plan in mind.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
That's a dream.
Exactly. Big difference.
Yeah. That's deep.
It's way deep.
A goal without a plan is just a dream. Nick Soboleski.
Wayne Gretzky.
First person that gets that tattooed on him, I'll get you a beer.
That's not very much for getting that tattooed on
And
you.
a free hat.
Oh, man. Anyway, where are we starting? Nick, you've been doing a lot of talking, so let's just keep you rolling.
Just keep it rolling?
Yeah, what do you want to do this year?
I want to hunt deer.
End of story.
Yep, that's it. And how I plan to do it is I'm going to spend some time in the woods
I love that.
hunting deer. No.
Moving on.
Yep, Tom, we're going to wrap this up. It's going to be a 7-minute podcast. So my goals, I have two main goals. First off, I want to kill a buck and a doe with my bow this year. Mm-hmm. That's like the main goal. The sub part of that goal is I want to get both of them on film.
Okay.
So I started filming years ago with just a GoPro. And then I filmed my first kill with a GoPro. It's probably a couple years back. Actually uploaded it to our TikTok, and it got taken down for violence.
Unreal.
So, yeah. Can you believe that? I even blacked it out as it was happening. Not enough. They caught the message. It was there. So whatever. Yeah.
Speaking of that, we are on TikTok
Yeah, we're on
now,
TikTok. Yeah,
actively.
Yeah.
I think Nick's posting a video a day.
Trying to. I don't want to put out shit content, but good stuff. I try and put out as much as I can.
So check us out on there.
Yeah, White Cat Outdoors. Anyways, so I started filming back in the day with a GoPro, and the GoPro is nice. I love the GoPro, but it's kind of like a fisheye view. You don't really get too much
They
detail.
have their place.
Yes, exactly.
They're a very useful hunting camera, but
not for the kill shot.
not for the kill shot.
Unless you can touch the deer with the tip of your
Well,
spear.
I have my biggest buck on camera with a GoPro, and it was 5 yards, and it's still. I mean, you can obviously very clearly see how big the deer is, and it's a nice video, but it's
colorful too.
Yeah, but
Stop sniffling into the damn mic.
Gotcha.
But like we were saying, it's just not a good camera to film the kill shot with. It's perfect for setting up, looking at you and your bow, and that end of the kill shot.
Yeah.
But to be out on the animal, if you're past 10 yards, you're not getting much on a GoPro.
Yeah. So, and then a couple years after that, I upgraded to using my cell phone, and the cell phone works better than the GoPro, but it's still not ideal. Excuse me.
You sick or something? What's your problem?
I work for a living on a farm right now. No, I'm working on a farm, and I am highly allergic to hay and even more allergic to straw. Found that out.
How is life on the farm?
Oh, let me finish my damn story.
Hoping you were going to say kind of laid back. The John Denver song.
Yeah, that would be pretty solid if he did, but he blew it.
Sorry.
Back to the goals.
Anyways, I've been using my phone, and I haven't gotten any kill shots on my phone, but I've gotten a lot of really good footage with my phone. But this year I decided to, and this is actually pre-turkey season, I decided to upgrade to a really nice camcorder. And got my first turkey kill on camera. Actually, my first 2 turkey kills on camera, and Tom's first 2 turkey kills on camera. Not our first turkey kills, but the first ones we filmed.
Yeah.
So 4 kills I've already got on camera. So that was on the camcorder. So that was pretty neat. My goal this year is to film a buck and a doe, at least. And I want to capture the whole story. I'm not just hit record right before the kill shot and done. I want to get the whole story. I want to make it feel like, instead of bringing people to the table, I want to bring them to the stand.
Yeah, for
or,
sure.
Or the saddle, whichever
one
I'm
you're in at the moment.
Yeah. So those are my 2 big goals. I don't have, and I guess for the buck, I want it to be a respectable buck, that 16-inch wide 8-point, that we see in Pennsylvania. That's kind of
might
the mark.
drop your standards just a little bit because you're trying to get that first buck on
typically
camera.
Typically, if it's something short tined, that I know is young, I typically would have let it walk in the past couple of years. I went through a spurt where I didn't let anything walk, and then I started to let things walk. This year, I'm just gonna loosen the reins a little bit for the sake of I want to practice my filming.
Yeah.
And practice getting that shot on film. So that's why I'm also throwing that doe kill in there.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's
because
the big
it
thing
definitely
for me.
adds a whole new element to hunting, and if you mess up a doe kill, then it's not gonna totally ruin your day. But if you have a monster buck that you mess up because you're trying to play around with the camera, you might be kicking yourself a little bit.
Yeah, and I've been studying a couple different tips, reading up on some tips to help not let that happen. Keeping a wide angle and doing your zooming later, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but I'm excited for that. I've always enjoyed filming my hunts and filming my experience in the woods, just because so many crazy things happen when you're in the woods that only you got to see, and sometimes people don't believe it. I've experienced that myself with my bobcat incident. Not everybody believes me when I tell that story, but had I been filming, it'd been a whole different story, and it would have been a crazy viral video.
That would have been a viral video. That would have been insane.
So, on that aspect, that's basically all I have. And like I said, that's all with a bow. I'm still going to be recording during gun season, but I hope my tags are filled.
Yeah. You'll just have to come hang out with me or Tom.
Yeah, that's another thing. If I'm tagged out, I'm filming for somebody else. My season doesn't stop there. Yeah, for sure. Frank, what kind of goals are you setting for yourself for deer season?
I've honestly been going kind of back and forth with stuff because we have some nice bucks on camera, but nothing spectacular yet. So like before I was kind of thinking I wanted to be like close to the 140 mark. I was setting like a size, but
Game of inches.
yeah, exactly, game of inches, and I was going for 140 of them, and I might stick to it. I might drop her down to like 130 because
Based
What
on
if you
what,
get like a real squirrely 120?
yeah, see that
With a
sometimes
heck of a
I
lot
have
of
a thing for the
character.
squirrely bucks.
yeah, I do have a thing. If it's got a heck of a lot of character, I'm gonna have a hard time. So, like, I don't have like a 100% set goal because the past couple years I've shot some bucks that are a little bit smaller than I normally would have shot because I shot them in gun season.
See, me and you are the same. Like most people, they're more picky with a bow.
Yeah,
Or they're less picky with a bow.
Yeah, they're thinking, oh, it's archery. It's a lot harder. Standards are gonna drop.
Yeah.
I think
and
all
then-
three of us are this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I'm more picky with my bow, and then come rifle season, it's like, okay,
It's clean.
time to put a buck down.
Yeah, and the past 2 years, like my pistol buck 2 years ago and the buck I shot last year, I passed both of those bucks with my bow multiple times. So
Yeah.
I just haven't seen the buck that I wanted to see with my bow. And this year, I mean, I obviously want to get one with my bow. That's the goal every year, is to kill one with the bow. But I think even if I do make it to gun season, I'm not going to drop my standards. I'm going to keep my standards up instead of just settling for something, because
I learned my.
we do have some really nice bucks running around up there that have a lot of potential, and I'm not going to knock one of them off just for the sake
and
of
you
filling
guys,
a tag.
you guys have a history of those bucks sticking around. You've got a big enough piece of property where you see them year to year, and it's you can feel fairly comfortable knowing that if you let it walk, there's a good chance it's going to make it through gun and muzzleloader.
Yeah, for sure. And I
So
also
not
have,
everybody has that opportunity, which I know sways people's thoughts too.
and I'm kind of changing how I'm gonna hunt that piece this year because it got just
So mobile.
yeah, it's gonna be really mobile, and it's gonna have to get creative because they just decimated that property with logging because we lease it, and the owner just logged the shit out of it. So I think it's gonna be good because we've been seeing a lot more activity in the woods on our property this year, because normally our property is just sort of like a passing through area. We don't have much there to hold them other than the fields that we have. You know, the farmers plant beans in them. So that's where I spend most of my time on that property until later in the season. Then I'll move back into the woods a bit. But I think this year I'm almost going to ignore the fields except for like the first week or two. So I'm going to spend a lot more time in the woods and start attacking different areas of the property and just try to relearn the whole thing.
Well, and that's something you have to do when you get a piece of property that's drastically changed like that, is you almost have to relearn it.
Yeah.
And Tom and I are on the second year of that with a property we hunted for years. It wasn't my dad's farm at the time, but we had been hunting it for years. Well, it was logged just like what you're going through.
Yeah.
And it's changed.
Not to that extent, though.
Yeah, not to
Yeah.
that extent, but it did change quite a bit about
Yeah.
what we remember and knew about that property. Traveling corridors have changed.
Yeah.
And we've done our own man-made changes and stuff too, but it's like you said, you have to relearn it.
Yeah, and I think that's probably like my biggest goal for this year isn't even about killing a deer. It's just learning for next year how to attack that property now that it's so drastically changed, because it is such a phenomenal piece, and we always have really nice bucks up there. Even though we haven't had any great ones on camera, we've had one that's probably in the 125 to 130 range, but I know we don't have them all on camera yet, or we never will. But I just definitely want to learn as much as I possibly can about that property, and you can never learn everything in 1 year, but
I don't think you can ever learn anything ever.
yeah, because we've been hunting
Nobody's
that
got it
property.
all figured out when it comes to hunting.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I can't remember who it was that was telling me, but a friend of mine made a comment about that, and it's a obvious thing, but something you don't think about is that it's a wild animal and it can do whatever the hell it wants.
Yeah,
So as much as you think you know about it, he still has, or she has, the choice to do whatever it wants.
Yeah.
Even though, in quotation, bucks do this.
yeah.
On that particular day, it doesn't have to.
He can do something totally different he's never done before in his life. So
And that's why some of them big bucks get killed, is because they get caught doing something they don't typically do.
Yeah.
Like walk during daylight.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's my main goal for the year, is to really get a handle on how the deer are moving through that property now. And my secondary goal is to get another deer with a pistol.
You gonna work on trying to film it all?
Yeah, I definitely plan on doing some filming. I'm not gonna because I don't.
You're gonna
have
probably do the cell phone.
Yeah,
deal
and I
with the
always
pocket
do.
arm.
Yeah, I always have my phone. I get a lot of footage of deer. I'm always sending you guys
Yeah.
videos of stuff that I get, but I definitely plan on trying to get a kill shot or two on camera. But it's not like my
It's not on the
100%.
top, yeah.
Yeah, it's not the top of the list, but I definitely plan to do it. I'd really like to get the pistol on camera, and I'll probably end up doing that with a doe, because I would like to have my buck done by the end
Yeah.
of archery. But I definitely want to get that on camera.
Yeah, there's something I don't know. I love like Snapchatting videos of bucks to my buddies while I'm on stand. Because like sometimes some of your buddies might, and I mean I have it too. You have a shit morning where nothing's happening, and it's nice when you are seeing stuff to just rub it in your friend's face. Like,
Exactly.
hey, I've got a buck in front of me. I could kill it, but I'm not going to. I'm just gonna film it for you.
Yeah.
See, and the reason I like to film is so when I get back to deer camp and tell Nick, hey, I just passed up a 16-inch 8, and he's like, oh, bullshit. I'm like, well, no, here's a video of him 15 yards
Which I had to
away.
eat my words at camp last year at the Climber, because Climber's been a work in progress for a long time. That's the headquarters, in case somebody hasn't picked that up in 85 episodes. Anyway, it's been a work in progress. The bucks are finally starting to look like bucks. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we for a long time, all we had was like little tiny 1.5-year-old bucks, and it was
4 points and 6 points.
yeah. Now we're finally getting, you know, we're seeing, you know, small 8s, but on camera we were getting, you know, 120s, you know, 8s, 10s. And Tom told me he passed a, you know, like a 15-inch wide 8 or something in that range. You know, that average 8-point.
That would have been one of the biggest bucks we've ever killed.
When you
up
think
there.
of like a Pennsylvania 8-point, this is what that buck was.
Yeah.
And I called BS, and Tom pulled out the old camera and was like, there it is. And I was like, okay.
Right there.
So
it
that's
is.
another great reason to film.
Yeah. So I think, that about wraps me up. That's what I want to accomplish this year. Just figuring out the property for the most part and getting another deer with a pistol.
Tom, so now that leaves one person at the table that hasn't told us his goals.
Okay, so
Or her goals.
my goal is the same goal I had last year.
Just to have fun.
Yeah, that's it.
Keep it
Just
simple.
out there to have a good time.
No, so little backstory. Last year, I made this goal where I wanted to pick a target buck and go in and kill that target buck.
That is a lot of fun. I haven't killed a target buck, but I've done it a couple times, picked a buck and gone 2 years without killing it, and it is a lot of fun to pick one and follow it.
Yeah, and I had my opportunity last year, third day of the season, and I laid an egg.
Friggin' blew it.
Yeah, totally blew it. Didn't see the buck again until rifle season, and it was when I was driving home. He crossed the road in front of me, and then I got a trail
You
cam.
didn't speed up on him?
No. Then I got a trail cam pic of him in muzzleloader season, and that was the last I've seen of him.
So you're still after the same buck?
No, I have not seen that buck since muzzleloader season.
Have you
Yeah.
picked one out yet?
Yes, I have 2 picked out.
Whoa. Narrow it down.
Yeah.
Save some for the rest of us.
Well, 2 separate farms.
Okay. Yeah, I know the 2 bucks you're talking about, actually, then.
Yeah.
We've
So-
got
Out at my dad's property. This is going to be tricky because I've only gotten one picture of him so far, and it's a shit picture, but I know he's big.
Mm-hmm.
He
Real
looks
big.
like an 8. I don't know how wide he is. Super ass tall, super ass heavy.
it's like beer can width at the bases.
That's nice.
We
Yeah.
haven't posted that one.
That one's just for...
He's a
It's-
gym dandy,
It's a stud.
Yeah.
and it's in daylight, so that's always encouraging.
Yeah, definitely. That's surprising. Like, almost every picture that I have so far on the main property that I plan on hunting is in the daylight, and I have
all of our shooters our daylight right
Yeah,
now. Which
same. It's pretty. I wouldn't say it's typical, but it's more common.
I'm not
early.
excited yet.
Yeah,
I'll put it that way.
yeah. Once we get to be
September
about
15th and
two weeks
on-
from the season, then you're
Yeah.
locked in.
Yeah, jeans start to tighten up.
Yeah. But
But
now
anyway-
when you see them in the daylight, it's like, you still got 2 more months.
Yeah.
They're gonna do some different stuff.
But
Tell us
yeah.
about the 3-year-old at the other farm. That you're.
Well, I'm
Oh,
not
you're not
even
done with this
telling
one?
you
Okay.
my plan for this one. And then I'll get on to the
All
other
right.
one. So we're at the early stages of this because up until now there was some shooter bucks that I had on camera. I'm like, oh, I'd shoot that one.
Mhm.
Oh, I'd shoot that one. But it wasn't until last week I got a picture of a buck and I'm like,
That's
the
guy.
one.
First one that really got you excited.
Yeah. So I don't know anything about this deer. All I know is he was in my food plot one time.
And he doesn't come up to the feeder.
No, he hung back. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull some of my cameras from Climber and try and I have an idea where this big buck's bedding because typically on this particular piece of property, the mature bucks bed in one area
Mm-hmm.
and I know where that area is. And if I had to guess, that's where
He's
he's
probably there.
bedding just from
Past
experience. But I would like to verify that. And then, see, this is how it went last year. Really nice 9-point I had on camera during daylight every day, like 2 weeks before the season.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, this is a very
Slam
killable
dunk.
buck. So opening day, it was our first year archery hunting the farm. So my dad wanted to hunt this stand. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's your farm. Go hunt this stand. And that buck, for whatever reason, didn't come out. Can't hunt Sundays. Mondays I hunted, but I didn't have the right wind to get in on this stand. So actually listened to myself for once and didn't hunt this stand, hunted somewhere
That
else.
is tough to do.
Yeah. Tuesday, had the right wind, went in, buck came out, then I blew it.
Laid another egg.
Yeah, long story short, just blew it. So now this year, I'm hoping that I have the same opportunity where, my last camera check, like a week before the season, he's a regular during daylight hours.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing I'm doing to up my chances is I'm using a crossbow.
You bum.
I know.
Moving on.
Yep. We're not even gonna get hung up on it. You're just gonna
Yeah.
move on to the next buck.
I
You
figure I might.
choose whatever legal weapon you want to use.
Yeah, I will. And I choose crossbow.
I was talking more to the listeners.
Oh, yeah.
We joke about crossbow hunters. You're not going to catch me with a crossbow,
Not
but if
me either.
you choose to use a crossbow and
More-
it's legal in your state, go
More
for
power
it.
to you. If that's
It's-
what gets you outside,
yeah.
go ahead and do it. But
You're
you're
just
gonna
not gonna see
hear it from me and Nick.
No, you don't use a freaking musket in rifle season.
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
Big time.
You use a
Built it
rifle.
myself.
Anyway. So,
I'll still congratulate you, but it'll be with an asterisk.
With an asterisk.
and I'll
It'll be like
When you
my
get-
right hand out, but my left hand will have a middle finger up.
When he gets it mounted, have like the little placard underneath it with an
Crossbow.
asterisk.
Yeah.
so now
I'll pay for the plaque.
thanks. I just got to figure out. I'm hoping this buck's a lot better than the buck I was after last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a little bit smarter, probably, because I think the one I was after last year was a 3.5-year-old. This one, I don't know. I've only got one picture of him, and he's,
Just big.
yeah, he's big body, huge body, massive
Huge.
body.
Well, and I know that Velvet makes racks look a lot bigger.
Yeah.
But when you compare it to every other buck that we've got on camera, and he's like twice as heavy,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a buck.
Yeah.
And this other buck, he's just my target buck. I know another
Which he
one.
should be a 3-year-old this year.
Yeah, 'cause he was 2.5 last year. He's
Math checks out.
about 15 inches wide and
If
about
that.
15 inches tall. He's got about 9-inch brow tines, just straight up.
That's sharp.
Yeah, really cool looking deer.
That's almost like your dad's.
Have you
last
seen
year.
the most recent pics of him?
I've heard of the most recent pics of him.
Double split brows.
double
Yeah,
splits?
double split brow. So he's a
Are,
10.
are
now?
all
Yeah.
4 of the brows that tall? Or
Yeah. Oh, it is
No?
the most. wild looking deer I've ever seen.
Wow. I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
I'll have to show you.
Yeah, please do.
I was there. I was there
killers.
for the card puller. Yeah,
That's
it's
wild. Yeah,
it's a
I would
very
definitely-
interesting looking deer. It actually almost reminds me of like the front half of a caribou rack, where it
Really?
it just like everything just grows straight up.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it's double split brows. The main beams look like spikes, but then like the tines just come off the back. Like it's wild.
That's weird.
It's a very interesting deer. So
That is neat.
This is another one that's been very active on camera, and like it's still early yet, but
He's looking a little bit more promising.
he's way more active
That's
on
sweet. I
camera
hope
this
are
year
you-
than he was last
Are
year.
you crossbowing him too?
oh god, yeah, yeah. Big time.
Nothing but crossbow.
Unless
he-
I'm in New York.
yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, he's a lot more active on camera this year than he was last year. We just got a couple glimpses of him last year, and actually nobody saw him on stand.
Mm-hmm.
But this year he's on camera a lot. So
Nice.
And what's nice this year is, in the past, my grandpa has had a farmer come in and plant fields, and they would harvest before archery season.
Mm-hmm.
Now my grandpa planted a bunch of fields himself for the deer,
So they're gonna stay.
so we're gonna have feed all year long.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So I got my 2 target bucks, and around here it's tricky.
are you? I do want to ask: is filming going to be any sort of aspect
God,
of yours?
no, unless
Tom's not a
someone's
filmer,
filming
huh?
for me.
You're not a self film kind of guy.
If I shoot a buck in archery, I'm gonna just piece out on the doe for archery and save it for my pistol, and I'm just gonna film for you guys if I shoot one.
You have to be pretty mobile to hunt with me.
I'm way more
I'm just
mobile
kidding.
than you.
I'm just
I don't even use a tree stand. I just climb up any tree I want.
Yeah.
yeah. That's nice.
Just levitate.
I've only hunted one time from the ground, and I was with Frank over in Ohio, and I had a doe inside 10 yards, and it was like I was in this wicked thorn bush.
Yeah, I watched him walk over to where he was. We were only 150 yards
Yeah.
apart, and I could see right where he was, and I watched him go in there, and I'm like,
I disappeared.
yeah, I thought he like when I wasn't looking got up and left, and he was there the whole time.
Basically, Frank and I in February found a
Yeah, it was
standing
February.
cornfield.
And
And
we set up on it.
Yeah.
Both
So
of
we
us.
both ends, and yeah, I found this. I couldn't find a tree where I wanted to be, so I said, "Screw it, I'm just gonna sit on the ground." And I found this pricker bush, and I was like, "You know what? That looks like good cover." So I literally like hollowed out the front of it, slid in. It actually it was great cover. Frank couldn't see me, and he knew where I was. These does had no idea. If I had a doe tag, it was over. I was shaking like crazy.
I bet. It is exciting to hunt on the ground. That might be next year's goal for me is to get one off the ground.
With a bow.
Yeah, with a bow, of course, with a bow. I've killed them off the ground with a rifle before.
As you were
It's old
saying,
hat.
Tom.
Yeah.
But it's tricky picking a target buck and going after it. You got a couple week window, and then the rut kicks in, and
Then, yeah.
the patterning is over. I'm sure there's a way to still do it, but when bucks are traveling miles a day,
Yeah.
makes it a lot harder. So yeah, my goal is I think you got 2.5, 3 weeks. You know, like October 1st, October 20th. You're
Once
getting
you start
close.
getting close to Halloween,
yeah,
that's when the switch starts to really flip.
yeah. So you got a couple solid weeks to.
So does your goal go out the window after the 20th?
Well, then I'll have a new goal.
We'll have to episode 90. Well, Tom's new goals.
Tom's new goals.
Well, that's only 5 weeks away. We're not even.
Is it
It's
really?
going to be 1 week into bow season.
Bow season's coming fast.
It is
And I'm
coming
getting
fast.
so excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got like 8 weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be wild.
I don't know where that math added up. Yeah, 5 weeks. We're not going to
Nick's-
be 1 week into bow season.
Yeah, Nick doesn't know what the hell he's saying.
We got 3 months of August and 4
Three-
months of
3 months of August.
3 weeks.
Now
of
the
August.
math is really
Yeah.
getting
3
crazy.
weeks.
Tom, stick to shapes.
3 weeks of August, 4 weeks of September. We're 7 weeks out, boys.
Start the countdown.
So yeah, and you know I'm just gonna have to do it and get it over with because there's really no second option.
Yeah.
It's either do or die.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm
It's
bringing the
ballsy.
crossbow.
Bob.
Well,
See, the thing
I
with
spent
the
a lot of money on a
crossbow
new compound
is-
this year, so I'm gonna have to use that one.
For me personally, I don't think they increase your yardage.
No, they
Very much.
absolutely
They don't increase
do
your
not.
yardage. I think
I still won't shoot over 30 yards.
No, people that say, "Oh, I'm accurate out to 100 yards with my crossbow." Like, I don't give a shit if you're accurate to 100.
I believe
I
you.
used to be accurate to 100 yards with my compound. I would never in my life attempt to shoot an animal that far. Other
that's
than
why
like
you don't
a
have any
woodchuck.
big bucks.
Yeah, I do actually. But yeah, I just people get
I
way
think-
too. That's my biggest hang up with crossbows is that people think it extends their range by so
Yeah.
much.
I think the benefits a crossbow gives you is you don't have to prepare nearly as hard as you do with a compound.
Yeah.
And that's just a proven fact. It's like shooting a rifle. Compound bow, I think, to be effective, you need months of practice beforehand.
Yeah.
Where a crossbow, that's not the case.
Yeah, you can knock
The
that
other
way
thing
back.
is the element of that,
Movement.
20 inches or more, like closer to 30 actually.
Yeah.
30 inches of movement in the tree right when he's in range.
Mm-hmm.
It takes that away.
Yeah.
Unless, I mean, if Tom wanted to get crazy with it, he has to cock his crossbow before shooting.
That would be way more movement than a compound.
I would actually give you 2 thumbs up and a handshake. If you could wait, just don't cock your crossbow. You see the buck in range, you cock it, put your bolts
Take
in.
out Grandpa's striker with like the Allen
The
key on
hand
the side.
crank.
That you can crank.
Yeah.
Takes about like a minute and a half to crank this thing back.
Yeah. But that's the 2 big things that you are gaining with a crossbow.
The other thing is, and this is speaking from experience, this wasn't intentional, but it's just a byproduct of the crossbow. You have a much heavier bolt that is going quite a bit faster.
Mm-hmm.
I shot a doe. It was like 34 yards.
I thought you said you weren't shooting over 30.
Said I wouldn't shoot
Credibility
much over 30.
shot. Much over. So we have a range.
Much over.
So
60
like
yards.
30 yards.
It's like a pinch of yardage.
30 yards is
Little
where
dash
like
of this.
I want to be. Like a 30 yard. That's
3
money.
tablespoons.
But if everything's right, you'll poke
35.
35.
Yeah, I will not shoot 40 yards unless
Unless it's my birthday.
I shot like a 90s Matthew on a buck that was 35 plus, and it did the job, but I wouldn't recommend it.
yeah, but it ducked the arrow and you spined it.
Yeah, it did the job though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying your arrow's not going to kill the deer if you hit it in the right. I'm saying that distance,
You really
the deer
start-
has time to move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree, 100%. Well, and I was younger, and since then I've shortened my range.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so 35 yards, shot this doe, blew clean through both of her shoulder blades, and buried my bolt into the ground. There's some energy going behind those things.
Yeah.
It's good energy in the gym.
So, not that I aim for the front shoulder with a crossbow. I still aim for the middle of the rib cage. But
You never know what's going to happen.
yeah,
That's another thing we ought to talk about real quick. I don't understand why people try and aim at that tiny, like just the heart for like archery. I get it's cool for like practicing and stuff, but why wouldn't you want the
biggest target.
Biggest target. I move like 2 to 3 inches off the shoulder blade, center mass.
Yeah.
You're
You're
guaranteed.
going to smoke both lungs.
Yeah, if he ducks, you're probably going to get top lungs. If he lunges forward, you're still going to get
back
the liver.
lungs, liver.
If he jumps, you get heart. If he shrinks up a little bit like they typically do, you're still getting lungs and you're not going to hit the shoulder.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. Like, I don't know. I don't waste time trying to shoot at just the heart. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you what, I've never had an issue with it.
Yeah.
Every buck that I've shot with my compound except one, I've recovered.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
just a quick
Little aside.
I was going to say tidbit.
Tom loves that.
Speaking of, I was working at the farm the other day, and one of the girls I was working with said tidbit, and I almost lost it.
That's nice.
Wild. Any other goals, gentlemen, at the table?
No, I think that about squares us away.
I have like not a goal for myself, but a goal. So
for me.
no, our buddy Ben.
Start passing out goals.
We have a friend, Ben, who's been away serving our country for the Navy for the last 4 years, is interested in getting back into hunting. He did a little bit of hunting before.
Yeah, I took him
but-
hunting a couple of times.
Yeah, Tom and I have taken him hunting, and he gets super excited. I love it. But now that he's done with the Navy, he's shown a great interest in archery hunting. So a goal of mine, or not a goal for me, but like a goal for him is I would love to see Ben get his first deer
Yeah,
this year.
that would be nice.
So, and then like I guess like the epitome of goals, not necessarily for myself, would be like
A booner
no, not like even a booner. I'm talking like if you killed one of every North American animal, like
with a bow.
yeah.
That would be.
Could you imagine?
That would be.
Like,
really,
is that a thing? Like, if you killed every North American animal with a bow,
I think they call it the North American Super Slam.
Yeah,
so it is a thing.
It
it's
is.
totally a thing.
Seriously?
Absolutely a thing.
I wish we knew somebody that did it.
If only we did.
If we did, we'd have to get them on the
We
podcast.
would literally have to.
So
Yeah.
maybe
If somebody,
someday, if that is a thing.
Yeah.
But I guess until then, make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that you're all getting outside.